Just like they expect us to stop being polygamous and dealing with multiple women, isn't it their fault if we cheat and they expected us to be monogamous? If we're going to flip back around and say it's our fault for setting that expectation for them when they're asking for a man who makes money, and all of us fighting for it every time on the panel. Hey man, a woman should like you for who you are, but in the next breath we'll go, hey man, build yourself up, produce, and you'll get the pick of the litter. But if you get the pick of the litter based on what you create and produce, then you're going to get a woman based on the money you have. So
But see
then
that,
we cater to the sense of entitlement.
but that's what I'm. But that would mean again that's still our fault.
How?
Because the standard that's being created, the expectation is coming from experiences. They're able
Mhm.
to view the life, whether it's directly or indirectly, that this does happen for women that may look like me or women, period.
Mm.
Women can demand all they want to. The reality is, if we're not like feeding into it, it doesn't exist. So it's
Yeah, but
our
we're not arguing whether whose fault it is and whether it exists. I think the argument is that the woman that is is admiral and she's attractive, she can actually make demands that would feed into a sense of entitlement.
but
Whether or not who's is her fault or our fault is not even in the discussion. It's just whether she's capable of doing it based off of her beauty.
But
but
truth, walk yours down. If
okay.
you do give her the money, does the woman perform or become a better woman, or does she become worse?
Well, I was answering and introducing that from what the question was, the standard or the entitlement. And
Right.
what I believe, I think Darwin did say it. When you're out, when you're observing a person and you're saying standards exist, their life should be consistent with that set standard. It should already be there based on proof of concept, work, whatever. The expectation that the treatment from being a pretty woman, that comes from us. So I wouldn't say that's a standard. I think that's experience. We give them that illusion or that thought process. That's not a standard. And even if you
It's a
want to,
standard that we set.
it's our fault.
Well,
Like,
you're arguing whose fault it is. I don't think that's in question. I don't think nobody got an argument against you, whether it's the man or woman's fault. It's just that it actually is an entitlement that women have, and if they have the beauty leverage, they can make demands.
I took it from what you even used the word as leverage. See, I guess I don't perceive it that way. When I view men and women, I don't look at women as having leverage. If she's pretty, she's
So you
pretty.
better start looking at it because a lot of them get their leverage. A lot of them is born with the leverage. Men have to go out and earn and work for our leverage.
When we're talking about what matters in life monetarily, exteriorly, sure. Human value is human value. And we all understand that a prettier woman is just going to be more perceived and more received different from mainly the men in this society. We get that. But we are giving credence to the fact that beauty is commodified. This is more
True,
valuable.
true,
Two things can be
true.
true.
You know what? True. You know what? Were you in the LA area your whole life
Yes.
or not? I
Ooh,
think
he was in LA
that
too.
that
I know you saw it.
listen. Wait. I think that's the problem. Not like you're wrong, but I think your perspective is different because that's one of the places with the highest beauty density. Period.
Okay.
So you would never see that as leverage over there because every woman is pretty. That's why it's less of a big deal to you, right?
Oversaturated.
If you're in LA, Miami, shit like that, it's way too many. For one, it's a city with an abundance of people, right? An abundance of networking, and everybody from everywhere who feels like they look good go over there. The culture is completely different. So yeah, I see beauty. It's dime a dozen. So I think your perspective on how you view women would be slightly skewed just because of what you're exposed to on a regular basis. Your reality ain't my reality in Jersey. Not to say we got a bunch of ugly people here. However, they like not a dime a dozen. You know what I'm saying? Like I just came from Miami a few months ago, and I was like, yeah, this is different. And anytime I go somewhere else, I'd be like, yeah, this is different. The beauty
That's
density and the behaviors of the men are predicated on the beauty density of that particular city.
Hey,
okay.
we don't get a chance. Let Bo get in that too, yeah.
So I feel like we are not like I think men see it differently and like I respect it. Because you all don't know what it is to be like a pretty woman. Um this leverage that you think pretty women have, it doesn't quite work that way, unfortunately, because there are a lot of men that are unimpressed by that. Like, now don't get me wrong, I can I walked into many places and walked out with a lot of free stuff. Many a times. So it works. But however, boy, listen, y'all know what was on the tip of my tongue. You really don't want to know what was on the tip of my tongue right then.
Yeah, we do.
I'm fighting it, but I'm gonna find it again. However, but in relationships, honestly, that doesn't matter. What True said and what Ilkin said were essentially the same thing. Like, Ilkin was right. Women, say that again, Ilkin, about how
Ilkon, Bo.
Ilkon, my bad, Ilkon.
Jesus. Yes, ma'am.
I got you.
Go ahead. I got you, Bo. But which part you want me to say again?
Okay, so when you were responding to True, because I don't want to like paraphrase you. When you were speaking to True about him saying it's men's fault.
He said it's men's fault. I don't think it's
yes, he
fault.
said, but
Yes.
in your response is what I'm talking about.
Yes, well, so when he was talking about the beauty standard, the men will talk in fork tongue. The men will say a woman should love you for who you are, but we all know if you have to spend money for her, she doesn't like you for who you are. She like you for what you have. That's why the relationship doesn't sustain. But I don't think it's the men's fault setting that standard. And women know that. Women don't respect men who try to buy their love and try to use money as leverage, just like a man doesn't respect the woman who tries to use sex as leverage. So we'll say that women don't know better and that it's our fault. So that's why I don't think it's the man. Oh, did it go out again? I don't know what happened. Sometimes
we can hear your voice. We can hear your voice now.
No, but I got you though.
So women set the relationship market and they set the sexual market. And same thing with men. Men can set the sexual market. There's a certain type of men, the minority of men can set a sexual market or relationship market as well too. But I think what gets lost in this conversation is that we conflate out the eyes of the top guy and the eyes of the top woman when most women aren't beautiful. Most men ain't gonna get their money to most women, and he might use it as leverage for a beautiful woman, but most men ain't gonna use their money as leverage for the average woman. So we get lost in the sauce where women will talk about men being assholes or a certain type of man, but they're conflating that with the minority of men, where most men would sniff your feet, see heaven of your feet. They do anything for you, and a lot of men would be suckers for women. It's in our nature. With the minority of men who don't have to do that because they have an abundance of women, they don't have to compromise at all, and that's why women call them assholes, because they show the woman exactly what they want to see, and the women get mad because they still want those men. Where a man can give you the whole world, most men can give you the whole world, and it's not good enough.
So that's why I think that you all were saying the same thing. Like, I get it, but I think you all were saying the same thing, because I feel like in that sense, that is men's fault, because they excuse those women from using them, just like women excuse the men for cheating on them just because they have a lot of money or they're good looking or whatever. I think that it's both of their faults, because we give people leeway and we give them excuses for doing those things. So then that cycle continues. So I completely agree with that. But unfortunately, like, a lot of pretty women learn that pretty privilege does have an expiration date, and not because you're getting older. It is because men get tired of that same old surface level thing. Like, you have to have something that comes behind that. You have to have some type of substance. So you're cute and you can get that man, but can you keep that man? Because if you don't got nothing behind this pretty face, then what? And so if a man excuses that, now, I do have a friend that make a lot of money, and he's like, I either want a woman of substance and I'll take a 5 or a 6. And that's cool, but she has to be accomplished, she has to be smart, and she has to contribute something. Or I'll take a shallow dummy and she don't have to work, but she got to stay in the gym. She got to stay looking right. She cannot change because you at least gonna look pretty on my arm. Like those are his two things. So like he would like to have both.